My name is Sarah Dinwoodie, and I will be presenting on endocrine disrupting chemicals and pharmaceuticals in drinking water. Throughout the United States and around the world, trace levels of pharmaceuticals and endocrine disrupting chemicals have been detected in water treatment effluents. The earliest reports of hormones being detected in drinking water treatment effluents were published in 1965. While reports continued through the 70s and 80s, it did not become a concern until the contaminants were linked to toxicological impacts on aquatic life. Present day, there is enough evidence to conclude the presence of at least trace levels of pharmaceuticals and endocrine disrupting chemicals in drinking water. Due to their occurrence in trace amounts, parts per trillion, detection and removal of EDCs and pharmaceuticals presents a significant challenge. A challenge that environmentalists face is that while pharmaceuticals are a well-defined group of compounds, endocrine disrupting chemicals are more complex, and there is a controversy among scientists as to the true definition of EDCs and what compounds fall into that category. The reason these chemicals are of concern is that at the most basic level, EDCs interfere with the functioning of natural hormones in animals, and have also been linked to developmental and reproduction problems. Not all the side effects of these contaminants are known, but the presence of harmful chemicals such as DEET and other pesticides have raised a red flag among environmentalists. Also concerning is that very little is known about the long-term effects of low-dose exposure to both endocrine disrupting chemicals and pharmaceuticals. While pharmaceuticals may not be a threat on their own in small doses, researchers do not know the effects that a mixture of these chemicals could have on human health. Previous studies have all been conducted on healthy adults, so the same conclusions may not hold true for sensitive populations. In the 1970s, a synthetic estrogen hormone was prescribed to pregnant women to help prevent miscarriage. Many of the children whose mothers were on the medication while pregnant suffered significant reproductive and developmental problems. In order to prevent another tragedy along these lines, the U.S. EPA has developed a process for screening and testing for some pre-identified endocrine disrupting chemicals. In 1996, the U.S. EPA created the Endocrine Disruptor Screening Program. The EDSP consisted of a scientific advisory committee that developed a system for testing water toxicity and determining which chemicals should be classified as endocrine disruptors. In 2001, a study was conducted investigating 106 organic compounds and the efficiency of their removal. The results were among the first to document inefficient removal and prove that certain compounds, including pharmaceuticals and endocrine disrupting chemicals, can survive conventional drinking water treatment systems. Numerous studies have concluded that some compounds, including pharmaceuticals, fragrances and flavorants, flame retardants, and plasticizers, detergents, components of personal care products, and products of petroleum use and combustion, are not being completely removed by current drinking water treatment systems. Following such discoveries, many studies were done to determine methods of effectively removing these types of contaminants from bodies of water to a level that is not harmful to public health if consumed. Initial efforts to remove EDCs and pharmaceuticals from drinking water through ozonation have been successful. During ozonation, ozone reacts with the organic contaminants, and as it decomposes, it forms hydroxyl radicals, which continue to further react with the contaminants. Treatment with ozone creates two layers of defense against the organic contaminants. Ozonation is typically targeted towards the more common pharmaceuticals, such as antibiotics and steroids, and non-steroidal endocrine disrupting chemicals. Experimentation with ozone as a solution for removal of endocrine disrupting chemicals and pharmaceuticals consists of two parts. First, determining the second-order rate constant for the reaction between ozone and its byproducts with the selected chemicals, and second, evaluating the dose requirements needed for the effective removal of selected contaminants. The calculated rate constants are used to predict the efficiency of ozone versus hydroxyl radicals at deteriorating the selected compounds. It is important to consider which part of the ozone treatment resulted in the removal of the contaminant. When water is treated with ozone, some of the contaminants are directly treated by the addition of ozone. Other contaminants, however, are more effectively removed by the hydroxyl radicals, which are a result of the decomposition of ozone when it reacts with water. Research shows that ozonation is among the best treatment options for removal of endocrine disrupting chemicals and pharmaceuticals. While the process has not yet been perfected, ozonation provides a base for further growth and development in the field of drinking water treatment. The alarming thing about the presence of these chemicals in water bodies is that the side effects on public health are not known. The chemicals that are being found include stimulants, antibiotic, mood-stabilizing drugs, and medicines prescribed to treat high blood pressure, to name a few. It is common knowledge that taking medicine that was not prescribed for you is dangerous. Repeated small doses of these chemicals can most assuredly cause adverse effects on developing children, elderly persons of declining health, and persons with compromised immune systems. Most of the contaminants that have been classified as pharmaceuticals and endocrine-disrupting chemicals are not currently regulated. My recommendation is that this change. While the threat posed by such low concentrations of these chemicals is minimal, the dangers of mixed doses are not known and cannot be accurately predicted. Determination of contamination standards and establishing methods of reducing the concentrations of these contaminants should be a major priority.